Gary Williams, 5 Clubs Golf, which you can also watch in the mornings on Golf Channel. He joins us from somewhere. Are you using your phone on the golf course at Augusta, Gary?
If I want my career to end as I utter these words, absolutely, unequivocally, no. No, I've made my way, Adam, back to the press building, which is like being. I mean, I can't explain to people, to your listening audience, how ridiculously, this place is. It's hard to explain. It is such an incredible place to work for a week.
Yeah.
And it really goes all the way back. It goes back. Look, Bob Jones had great appreciation for the written press, for people who covered specifically, the game of golf. It started with Grantland Rice, obviously O.B. Keeler, his biographer. But it's an amazing place to come to watch golf, but it's also an extraordinary experience to work in this facility for the week. It's amazing.
I have never. It's not that I haven't had the opportunity. I didn't take the opportunity when I had it, and now I really don't have the time to be able to do it. So it is one of those things in my career that I will probably go, man, I wish I had done that. So I will live vicariously through Gary Williams. By the way, I've been a viewer of all the stuff you guys do at 5 Clubs Golf, and in the mornings when I watch you on Golf Channel, you put a tie on. You've completely now. I'm not even sure what I'm watching anymore.
I put a tie on. I kind of have a. It's not that loose. I mean, Mondays I put a tie on. Tuesdays kind of casual Tuesday.
Okay.
Wednesdays kind of like a cruise line, maybe a sport coat, a sport shirt. I'm trying to represent the entire Peter Millar line, which, of course, their corporate headquarters in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Very good plug. It's why you're Gary Williams. All right, so I want to get to things that aren't about Rory McIlroy. If we have time, we'll get to Rory because it is dominated. It is the number one thing. So let me start with where Scottie Scheffler's game is as he approaches this Masters, trying to make it 3 out of 4. It's like there have been a little bit of things missing in his game. He hasn't won yet. He had a ravioli accident. I appreciated, by the way, the question asking him about ravioli at the press conference the other day, which I thought was hysterical. Where is his game, and is he still the favorite in your eyes?
Yeah, he's still the favorite in my eyes. He's as you pointed out, he's looking to do this 3 out of 4 years. Jack Nicklaus is the only player in Masters history, 63, 65, 66, to win 3 out of 4 years. He has not only the institutional knowledge, he has a toolkit that is more complete than anybody else, starting with his mind. And yes, you're right. He has not won yet this year, but let me just add just a little bit of context to that. If you look at his historic year last year, his 6th start was his first win of the year in 2024. That was the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Then he obviously won the next week at the Players. Yeah. So he came here like a runaway freight train. So Houston was his 6th start. Because of the injury, he was deprived a couple of starts. So no, he has not won, but in terms of the number of starts, and he's got a second, he's got a third. Adam, the one area I would say is not firing at all cylinders to where we're accustomed to him being better than everybody else is his iron play. It's been not bad. It's been very, very good, but it just has not been, historically great statistically, like we have to harken back to Tiger at his absolute apex to look at iron play over the course of a season, which is what he's done, not just in 24, but 23 and 22. I will say this, his putting numbers this year, which were deficient last year, and he won 7 times and had the gold medal.
Right.
His putting numbers are better. So, again, you can look at it a couple different ways. I still make him the favorite, and I make him the favorite comfortably. In one other little additional addendum as to why, you just made the point about Rory sucking up all the oxygen in the pre-tournament conversation. The two-time champion and defender is kind of under the radar in this peculiar way that's very dangerous for the field.
It might be 3 in a row were it not for Jon Rahm. Is Jon Rahm also
Correct.
under the radar?
Yes. The answer, I think, emphatically is yes, he's under the radar. My one concern, being here last year when he walked into the press building to do his pre-tournament press conference, it's usually such a celebration for the defending champion to walk back in a year removed. But he had made the move to live, and I thought in his defense, he was immediately defensive about his decision-making. Right. I thought he was in a weird headspace. Sitting in there yesterday, different. The one thing I would say that always is going to cause me concern about some of these live guys, if their schedule is going to continue to be what it is, which is hopscotch all over the globe from Adelaide to Hong Kong to Riyadh, and then you play one domestic event, and it's in Miami on Bermuda grass, so there's no agronomic corollary to coming to Augusta National, which is, perennial winter ryegrass and bent grass greens, whereas tour players get these run-up events that they're getting conditions that are built for them to have the kind of conditions they're going to face when they come here. So that's my concern, but I think Jon Rahm, I have a feeling, Adam, he's a factor this week.
Oh, I don't think there's any question he's going to be a factor this week. Gary Williams, 5 Clubs Golf on Twitter. Gary Williams 1 Up. That was the first time, I've been doing this for almost 30 years, the first time anybody has ever said agronomic corollary. I just want you to know that. We're going to write that down. Gary Williams, and I'll mark the time, 1:07 on April the 9th. There are so many heavy hitters. This is the reason why people say we need the reunification of the PGA Tour with all the guys coming back from LIV. Because you have the Jon Rahms of the world. It's great to see Joaquin Niemann, who I think will be a factor this week as well. I think he's been the best player on LIV all season long. I think he's got a couple of wins. Bryson DeChambeau, I think, is going to be a factor at every major that we play. His game is just so ripe for these things, and I think he's a big-time choice this week. And you've got guys like Ludwig Oberg and Colin Morikawa. I mean, the top 5, there's like 15 top 5 players in the world right now.
Yeah, that's interesting because somebody asked Jon Rahm, does he know what his world ranking is? And the point being made is that the ranking and the value of the ranking has been, it's wonky now, it's been diminished. And he said, actually, I know it. Am I still in the top 100? The guy said, you're idiots. And his question really was, do you still feel you're among the best players in the world, a top 5 player in the world? And he said, I'm going to answer that delicately, but yes, I believe that, and I do believe that as well. So we've made the point about Rahm. The Joaquin Niemann thing is interesting. Joaquin Niemann has never had a level of kind of referendum/radar on him in majors. He's still a very young guy, but he does have 22 major championship starts, and he's yet to finish in the top 10. And when you have guys like Phil Mickelson doing hot takes left and right, including saying that he arguably is the best player in the world, that's silly. You can't make that claim. You can say he's the best player on LIV. You can say he's among the best players in the world. Come on, man. He not only, I wouldn't say he would have to win a major to you could say, comfortably, yeah, he might be the best player in the world. He's never been a factor, not even close.
Right.
He comes here this week with people paying attention to his result. That's a different dynamic for him, and I'm fascinated to see how he plays.
Phil Mickelson with a hot take? Gary Williams, 5 Club Golf, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Masters starts tomorrow. One more guy under the radar, and then I want to get your take on a couple of maybe not so dark horses, but kind of dark horses. Xander Schauffele has won the last 2 majors. I know he's been hurt. He had a rib cage injury that has caused the start of his season to be delayed. But man, his iron play has certainly looked good. Statistically speaking, his irons, especially from 175 yards and in, are among the best on tour. Why aren't we talking about Xander just because he hasn't challenged for a tournament yet this year? I wouldn't be shocked at all if we go to the back nine on Sunday and he has a chance.
No, I think that last statement that you made is totally fair, because not only has he broken through the major championship vortex, he also has a sterling record here.
Yeah.
He has had multiple chances to win this, and I mean late, like in the deep end of the pool with a couple of holes to go. So he's got that on his side. He's got, obviously the confidence of knowing that he can win a major. My hesitation is just that to redline in terms of where you have to get in your processing of stuff. He's not contended yet this year. It's been a little while. The injury is what it is. I will say this, is that I thought he got out of his last start what he needed at minimum, which was he didn't contend at Valspar, but he finished tied for 12th. He shot 65 in the final round. He's managed to play 4-round events. He hadn't missed a cut, and he's ramping. I just don't know if he can accelerate enough to pull this off. But if he does, I'll be surprised, but I won't be shocked, because look, there was no doubt when the year started, before this injury flared up, that we all believed he was the second best player in the world, ahead of Rory.
Yep.
Rory is now sped in front of him because of the year that he's had to begin 2025. Schauffele he's under the radar primarily and almost exclusively because he's been injured.
Russell Henley's chances this week, Gary Williams.
Yeah, like him. I think he's in a different place as far as his profile as a player. He has always been somebody who plays well in the state of Florida. So the idea that he would have a couple of good results as he's had, including winning the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He's won in the Palm Beaches before, so it's not like he hasn't had success in the month of March before the Masters. But things have happened to Russell Henley coming into this that he hadn't experienced before, including being a part of an international American team. He was on the President's Cup team. He was partnered with Scottie Scheffler. I think that has emboldened him to believe that his place in the game is in a different place. I was with somebody who knows him exceptionally well, grew up with him just a couple of weeks ago, and he said he is equipped to deal with kind of people being more aware of him and being watched and being evaluated more. He is a highly competitive guy. He was an excellent high school basketball player. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And again, he has played well here. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Now, Russell Henley's going to be on the U.S. Ryder Cup team. I can say that very comfortably. I don't think there's going to be any doubt, in large measure because Scheffler likes partnering with him. So if the number one player in the world is your advocate, there's a good chance you're going to be on it. But it's also going to be because he's one of the 12 best American players, which makes him one of the 20 best players in the world. Yeah,
we're going to have to talk about the Ryder Cup team later on in the year. Yeah. Scottie Scheffler wanted to play with Sam Burns too. That didn't work out, but I do love Russell Henley. All right, final thing. I'm going to close with Rory, and then we'll say goodbye. There's got to be more pressure on him to win this Masters than any I can recall in my memory, and I don't know that it's not made worse by the fact that he had a 2.5-foot putt for par on the 16th hole on Sunday at the U.S. Open, and it all fell apart from there. If Rory's got in the same situation, what are people like you and me, who desperately want him to win because we love what Rory represents? What's going on in that? With everybody at that point.
Wow. Let me say first that I agree with you that if you go back to Tiger at his height, when he came here to complete the Tiger Slam, there wasn't enormous pressure like this type of pressure. Tiger was light years beyond everybody else in the game. If he didn't win the 2001 Masters to win 4 majors in a row, it was not going to be like, the sky is falling kind of thing.
Right.
This is so peculiar. Rory is an outlier historically in several different ways, starting with the fact that he had 4 at 25, as only Jack and Tiger had, and then it dried up. So if you look at him from a historical standpoint, all players who went from their fourth major victory to their fifth. On average, they did it in 2.5 years. He's now in his 11th year, okay? That is incredibly challenging psychologically. And then add the other caveat, which is massive. His Rubicon to complete the career Grand Slam is here. And with all due respect to Gene Sarazen, who won in 1935, it wasn't called the Masters. Nobody knew what it was. It was a gathering truly of Bobby Jones's buddies. So retroactively, it was applied that he completed the career Grand Slam. There was no Grand Slam in 1935. It wasn't looked upon the way it is now. So he is carrying stuff here nobody has ever carried. Nobody. Yep. So if he does, in fact, win it, it's going to require some time, and recency bias is an epidemic in sports. You deal with it every day, covering all sports. I'm going to tell you, before we even hit a shot competitively, if he does it, it will be among the greatest accomplishments in the history of golf, because he will join a very select few that's ever done it, period, but he will do it under this really odd dynamic of the absence of not winning any major and then doing the Grand Slam here, which, again, Mr. Sarazen, respectfully, nobody knew what you did in 1935.
No, 100% correct. All right, Gary Williams, before I say goodbye, who wins?
Scheffler. And I know, look, the people on I-40 are going, oh, God, how unoriginal. Do we want to be creative or do we want to be right? And I feel most comfortable that I'm going to be right betting the 4-1 favorite, who I just think he's the best player, and he's the best player here.
And he has that confidence that I'm not sure some of the other guys have. Gary Williams, at Gary Williams 1UP on Twitter. Thank you very much, my man. I'll talk to you very soon.
Adam, always a pleasure, my friend. Enjoy it.
We will. Absolutely. All right, take care.